I had this video idea for a while now. Really kind of reminded me by my let's say friend Trickster Lawlet. Um, he used to go by Asana, and you know, this topic's going to be about male intrasexual competition. It doesn't get talked about too much in you know in this sphere. What do you call it? Red pill, black pill sphere. You know, whatever you want to call it, the male self improvement sphere. This topic, male intrasexual competition, it doesn't get talked nearly as often as it should because we're constantly talking about women. We're constantly talking about race. We're constantly talking about how race plays a huge factor in dating and attraction, which it does. Uh, as well as being good looking and money and all these things. But the one thing we don't talk about often enough is how men will compete, especially older men, will compete passive aggressively with younger men. This happens all the time. I did a post, I believe it was yesterday. It's already August 13th. So it was August 12th. And the post was about how, older men in their 40s, they were losers in their teens, 20s, and 30s. These guys were like Gen Xers, maybe I should say early millennials. And a lot of these guys, they were not successful with women growing up. They were they were losers. Their testosterone levels were low. They didn't go to the gym when they were young. Just didn't have anything to show for themselves. They have money. They probably have a career, and they're older. They built up some money. They have a net worth. They have some assets, and with that being said, their mindset is still focused on competing with other men. But these older guys, instead of trying to compete for women their own age, they're competing for young women. It's very, very, very funny how there's this concept called hag maxing, and younger men are trying to get with older women because if you think about it, it's almost like the older women are kind of not super sought after, only really by younger men, and the younger women are sought after by older men. So this is kind of like this. There's almost like this inverse, where the younger men are going after the older women, and the older men are going after the younger women. It's kind of perverted in a way, not perverted in the sense that it's like it goes against what is normal, and and the main reason for this is money. The main reason why older men are going after younger women is money. These guys have houses. These guys have money. These guys have assets. They've got, most young men don't really have much. If you're in your 20s as a guy, you're probably living at home with your parents. DVDR talks about this. You probably don't have much to your name. Maybe you're in NEET. Maybe you're still in college. Maybe you're just working to get by. But your 20s is not necessarily the time where you're going to be rich as a young man. It just isn't. Some are, but most are not. I'm not saying you can't get women in your 20s if you are broke, but you have to rely on your looks, and you have to kind of be socially calibrated, and you have to have your race has to be, your racial phenotype has to be correct. All these things have to be in play for that to happen. But these older guys, they don't care about younger men. They can make these self-improvement video channels saying, just shave your head, just, bulk up. These guys are sabotaging you. Guys like Richard Cooper, Donovan Sharp, all these older, bitter men, these resentful men, they have a look to them. They're bald, they're overweight, they're short, they're ethnic, or they can be white as well, but they got they have this look to them. They're like bearded up. They got these big ass gray Jack Murphy beards. Jack Murphy's another guy who's like this. Jack Murphy, the Jack Murphy types. They got the fucking zinc beard. They got no hair. They are old, 45, 48. Donovan Sharp. The guys like Donovan Sharp, right? They just talk down to men. You ever see these guys' videos? They talk down to men. A lot of these guys are like even like so-called alpha coaches. Like these guys, these fucking coaches. You see these guys, young men who buy, like, this is a huge thing like 3 years ago. It's quite funny, but these younger guys would pay for masculinity camps, and these like older guys would like fucking grab them and like do really weird things, bordering on like kind of like the HOMO stuff. But these guys, like, they have this rage to them. They're on TRT. They're like angry. They're talking down to you. You know the type of characteristics I'm talking about. The Richard Coopers, the guys who yell in your face, telling you to man up. You got to be a real man. For some reason, they don't say why. Why should I be a real man? Do they give a valid reason? No, they don't. They just say to be masculine and shut up and work as hard as possible. But let's get into how they sabotage young men. They say that you should, if you're balding, shave your head to bulk up so you get fat. A lot of these guys are fat too. They're high body fat. They think they're muscular. They're really not. They're just eating a lot, and they're strong probably, but they're also high body fat. They're not lean. They're not lean whatsoever. They got beards because their chins are pretty recessed. They also say, oh, you got to work like 80 hours a week to be a real man. It's basically feminism, but it's like there's different types of covert feminism. You have obviously overt feminism. Then you have the more trad cuck feminism. And then you have these guys who are also they're also feminists because they still want you to play the game at the same time while sabotaging you. They want you to be a jester. They want you to shave your head and work all these hours so you can beta bucks. But at the end of the day, they just want to see you fail, man. They know young guys who try to look smacks and ascend and are, stress-free and can talk to girls. And see, a lot of guys don't understand is that, like, a lot of the time getting girls is being in their vicinity, is like being in close proximity to them, going to college. These guys will say, oh, don't go to college, don't go to university, you got to work on the oil fields. No, a lot of the time getting a girlfriend is being in the right vicinity, being in college dormitory, being in universities. That there's tons of young women there. Like, how else are you going to be around them? That's the best place to be around them. Being stress-free, going to parties, kind of acting degenerate, being socially calibrated, learning how to talk properly and kind of like being outgoing in some ways, but also being like literally just being relaxed and not giving a fuck about anything. That's kind of how you get girls your own age if you're a young guy. These guys don't want you to know that. They just want you to sacrifice all of your youth so then they can just scoop up the women anyway. You know what I mean? So if you're a young guy, don't listen to these people. Don't listen to these older, resentful men. I'm not saying go to college and get on debt, but if you're like an 18-year-old guy, I actually would recommend college in some ways. Go do accounting, do STEM. Maybe go to trade school if you want to. I'm not a huge advocate of trade school because even that's being bloated. But, how else are you going to get young girls? You got to be in the vicinity where they exist. You got to be around them. I'm not saying go chase women, but if you are actively looking for that, don't listen to these guys' advice. That's my main message of the video. Don't listen to their advice because they are sabotaging you. They are threatened by you. It all comes down to intersexual competition. Women do it, but we have to highlight that men also do it as well. Older men do it. So don't listen to their advice. Get on your finasteride, your minoxidils. Be stress-free. Take care of your looks. Don't bulk too hard, just have fun. That's all you can really do. So, that's it.